Good evening, Christine.
Oh, good evening.
So, we're at a protest, aren't we, Christine?
Yes.
We're rioting.
Small protest, but it's at the Chine Hotel.
Yes. Now, how would you say it's going so far, Christine? I mean, we've been here about half an hour, haven't we?
Well,
this is every Friday outside the Chine Hotel, which is a migrant hotel.
I'm just walking along by a hotel that I always fancied going to for a cup of tea, but now I'm not quite sure if we're allowed to go in the hotel. But I was walking along the pavement. What troubles me is the police officer was very friendly and kind, but he didn't actually answer questions about what is happening here. He said he's only keeping the peace. He can't answer the political questions. And then he made me go on one side because he said I was taking sides. Well, it's my country and I'll stand on whichever side of the road I wish to stand on. And that's what's worrying me.
So when you say
I was being told what to do in a very austere sort of way. And my safety wasn't in jeopardy. And this was a police officer who's under oath to protect me. And I actually felt that I could cross the road if I wished. What I do want him to realise is I wanted answers from him, which he can't give, he's not supposed to. But one of the migrants in the hotels here murdered my friend's son, and I am very sad about that. And I think that we have a right to know the answer why migrants are here without their families. We want them to be helped, but not in luxury and not understanding why they're here in our community. They're in our community, wandering around, and I've seen some of them have jobs and be very rude and not have our cultural ways. They must have my morality, they must have my values,
Christine,
they must go back to their own country.
I think you and I would both agree, Christine, that what we have at the moment is chaos, and it's limitless, endless chaos. What is actually going on? Because this is so abnormal. We've never known this before. What is going on in your view, Christine? This is surreal, isn't it?
I don't know, but there's a small rally here, and the police officer is not allowing me to cross the road because the people on one side are shouting that we must welcome the migrants, which I'm sure we must if they are in need. But then the people on the other side are saying this is our country, we must be consulted about why we're having so many people brought in.
Yes.
And we must be consulted about the impacts on our communities. And none of this is being done, to my knowledge. And I am not going on social media to find out answers that I may not know or not know is true. I wish to simply know why this very, very huge hotel is chock-a-block full of young men.
Christine, you're a local person for the last few years. I know you come from a different part of the country. You've been around this area in Bournemouth for a while. Have you been to many protests before?
No.
And have you been to one of these types of protests before, Christine?
No. It's just that I feel very strongly that migrants must come here and understand our culture and our ways. And I feel that if they're prepared to do that and integrate and be part of our world, then we're interested in their culture too. But we actually have to have standards. And I do not understand why young men are here, young men of military age. What is actually going on? There is a rather sinister agenda potentially. I know people are talking about it. I know that my friend, I felt many times that when they bring migrants to Europe, and they do have to protect people, one understands that they may come with different values. And I know somebody personally who lost a 21-year-old son who was going to be in a beautiful career, and a migrant who'd already committed murdered him in the centre of Bournemouth.
Christine, this is a really, really broad, nebulous question, you might say, but what percentage of the young men in these hotels do you think are actually honest, harmless, okay, average sort of people? What percentage would you say might pose some sort of threat?
But I have no way of knowing.
Exactly.
Because no one's ever consulted me.
Yes.
The only person I can go to talk to is Tom Hughes, my MP, and I don't know when his surgery is. I don't feel there's any route that answers my question, short of phoning up the Houses of Westminster, and they won't know either. But what I see now is a shouting match,
Christine,
and it is not intelligent.
You read my mind, Christine, because it seems to me that there is less than zero constructive debate or discussion
There
here.
is nobody
it's
hearing
people
anybody
insulting each other.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we can do about that, or is this just
Well,
the way it's
I
got
was
to be
trying-
until
I was
something's
trying
achieved?
to engage with the police officer about it, and he seems to think I was taking sides. I've just walked up the pavement to meet
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
and a couple of other friends who said
Yeah.
they'd be here.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to expect,
Yeah.
but I do feel very strongly that I would like to know answers to why migrant men are all over the country in our hotels, and the hotels are blocked off. If I could go in this hotel and have a coffee and mix with these people, that would be fine, and have a conversation with them. But there's a kind of a we can't talk about it attitude, which I find
Right.
rather odd. And I've just had it with a police officer who
Yeah.
has taken an oath to protect me,
Yeah.
and I require it.
Yes.
And not by being told you will stand there
Do you think,
and not there.
Christine-
I will not be told that by a local police officer.
No, Christine, would you say it's too polite and to say that the police have an incredibly confusing and challenging job in this era we're
I
living in
think
now?
it's absolutely difficult
Or do you
for them
think
here.
they
and
could do a lot better?
Yeah, I think it's difficult for them here, and I believe they're conducting themselves very well here, and I'm very impressed. But they're not giving any answers. They're not engaging, and even if they can't give answers, I don't want to be commanded that I must stand there and not there, because
Yeah.
that young man. And he is younger than me by many years, has no right to tell me where to stand when I'm walking up a pavement to meet some friends. I didn't know what I was walking into, and I just know that I feel very strongly about migrants who are harming us and bringing their criminal ways into here and into our country. And on the other hand, I'm sure you know it's happening all over the place, and we have got to protect people who need help.
Christine, why do you get people on, I'm going to say side, we're going to call it a side, people on the other side of the road shouting out from time to time, or often, things like Nazi scum, fascist and racist? Can you believe, Christine, because I cannot believe that people are saying Nazi scum to people like us. How have we got to this point, Christine?
Well, goodness, how would I know? How would anybody walking by know? It's just that people have strong feelings and emotions, but they obviously haven't done much research. And this is the thing, people don't research, don't look at facts, and don't read the newspapers enough, and form an opinion on assumptions and presumptions and suppositions, and we mustn't go down this route. And if we are to protect these people in this hotel, then I'd like to know who they are. And I'd like my police officer friend, who I was chatting to give me a little bit more information and not to command me as if he's a tyrant.
Yeah.
I'm not happy to be in a tyrannical environment. And I've just walked along this pavement.
Shall we go
to
back
catch
into the
up with
fray,
people.
Christine? Shall we go back into
Well,
the crowd?
I don't know that I shall. I mean, I'm too old to be in a fray. And I just simply want answers, and that's all I want.
Yeah.
And I don't find I have them by any normal route. I don't know what the normal route is anymore.
No.
I mean, I think I might phone up the local police station, but who will I get?
Yes.
And who will I get who will give me answers? Because
Well,
they're
one
all
thing is
told
for
not to
sure.
give answers.
One thing is for sure, Christine. We're getting noticed, and we're all over. We're all over, not just social media, but this is everywhere, all over the country now. We're getting noticed. Whether we're getting heard is a separate
But it's
thing.
very important to be heard. There's no
yes.
point making a noise if you're not being heard.
Christine,
But
thank
I
you.
just know that older people like myself are a bit bewildered as to why this is happening when we
Yeah.
don't have answers. And there are many people. I've just left a friend of ours who is 82, and she said there is something very sinister going
Yes.
on because we're not being given answers.
And that's so obvious, isn't it? Thank you so much, Christine.
Well,
And
I don't know the answers, but these
no.
this is how I feel.
but
You know,
that's
I may
a
be
really
wrong
good.
or right, I don't know.
Thank you, Christine. All the best.
All right,
Thank you
and
for
you.
being on the channel. Thank you.